All right, I'm back with another DVD review. Before I start, did you guys watch the Royal Rumble? What did you think of it? Randy Orton winning. He's going on to WrestleMania. They're still predicting that Bray Wyatt will win the WWE World Title at Elimination Chamber, and then they will go on and he will go on and face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And to set up that match. Do I think that match really needs a title in it? No. I think that their storyline has been going on for the last couple of months. So, I mean, I don't really think you needed that title. I much would have preferred, Cena to keep the title and then The Undertaker winning the Royal Rumble and then facing Cena for the title at WrestleMania. But again, WWE has other plans. Undertaker and Roman Reigns will face each other at the Big Show. Cena's opponent, that's a mystery right now, but they think they're going to be doing Cena teaming up with Nikki Bella against The Miz and Maurice. Again, not something that, that's like earth shattering or it's going to be like, a big matchup that we expect from Cena, but I don't know. WWE has this direction that they want to go to. Now, on to my review. I have TNA One Night Only Rivals 2015. But this was basically shot around 2014 because if you can see the roster that they had at the time. Now, first, let's begin with just look at the cover of this DVD and the talent that TNA had at the time. As we can see, I mean, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, uh, you know, MVP, Magnus. There's just the guys that are no longer with the company now. But this is you look back at like what they had to work with and you think of what happened, creative differences, direction of the company, money, I don't know, but at one time, I mean, TNA had a really good roster. So this is the front cover. We got the side view, and back here is the listing of the matches. So if you know what one night only's pay per views are, basically what TNA does is it's like they tape these events far in advance, and then they air them a couple months later on pay per view, because they still have a deal with the pay per view companies, so they still have to produce a monthly pay per view, even though they're not doing it like the traditional way anymore. They still have to produce that monthly pay per view, so they film these things far in advance, and then each month they could release a new one night only pay per view. So they don't really go with the current storylines because they're filmed so far in advance. This was filmed not at the Impact Zone, which is good because sometimes when it's always filmed at the Impact Zone, it kind of has that like, I know it feels like the same thing. You have like the fans. It's different when you're in a paid crowd. People paying to see it. You get true TNA fans. I've been to a TNA Impact taping back in Florida one time, in the Universal Studios, and they basically just want people to come in off like the park just to fill in the seats and stuff. You don't even have to be a wrestling fan just to sit there. So was an interesting setup. It was like in a theater auditorium, and the ring was on a stage. The stage, and there was a couple seats around the ring, and then you have this, the auditorium seating on the bottom. So like you could see like the ring was on the stage, and then the stadium seating, the seats were like on the bottom there. So I don't know if you were like in the back row, you might have been hard. It might have been hard to see the action in the ring. But again, it was interesting setup, and it wasn't your traditional Impact Zone. This was actually a pretty good event. It was a pretty good card. Uh, I mean, if this was on pay per view now, I would highly recommend buying it because it was really good. So basically, the setup of this thing it was called Rivals. So you got a lot of these TNA wrestlers that were feuding, had past feuds, and they had their match. What was cool about it is that they do like a kind of a video package build up to why these wrestlers were feuding, and then they go into the match. Your commentators are Mike Tenay and Taz. This was like so long ago. They're not actually there. They probably did the voiceovers at the TNA offices in Tennessee or wherever. You could tell like Taz is probably towards the end of his TNA run where he just didn't really care, but it was interesting commentating. I do enjoy Taz, so that was pretty good. So with the matches, we have Taryn Terrell against Gail Kim. That starts everything off. huge Gail Kim fan. You're gonna really enjoy the match, which is really good. Then we have James Storm against Mr. Anderson. This is part of like James Storm is doing the Revolution gimmick. The Great Sonata comes out and kind of interferes, and James Storm gets the win. You see Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson's career, I mean, it's like the hills and valleys of his career, where it was like he was on the top, and then all of a sudden just goes down. Unfortunately, he's no longer with TNA. He's not in WWE. I don't know what the future of Mr. Anderson is. I mean, I don't know if he'll be going to Ring of Honor but it's it's a shame what one career can go through. Then we have X Division Elimination Chamber. We have Elimination Match Chamber. I'm thinking about that. Kenny King versus Great Sonata versus DJZ versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's in this match. And you could tell, I mean, it's a big difference between Samoa Joe now that we saw on Raw last week compared to Samoa Joe in this DVD. Totally two different, almost like totally two different wrestlers, pretty much. Samoa Joe in this DVD. I mean, this is 2014. He's out of shape. Looks overweight. It doesn't look like he really cares. I mean, TNA. I mean, they dropped the ball on a lot of talent, and they really dropped the ball on Samoa Joe. Just from the beginning of like when he started, with TNA with the undefeated streak and all that. They dropped the ball on him, and NXT. He was running, he's NXT. Samoa Joe is just one wild on that, and now he's on the main roster on Raw. So, I mean, his career just went since he signed with WWE. Then we have Bram versus Gunner. Again, wasn't really into that match. Not really into those guys. I don't know. I'm not really into Bram. I don't know. I just think that he just doesn't really have. He's not connecting with me, and I'm finding this character boring. Gunner's no longer with the company, but again, he was, a forgettable guy, unfortunately. But the match that made me buy the DVD was Austin Aries versus EC3. I don't remember these guys ever feuding on TNA or Impact Wrestling before, so I was kind of like excited to see their match. I don't know, they might have wrestled on an Impact before. I don't know. So that was a pretty cool match. EC3 is a heel at the time, and he's still with Rockstar Spud. And the ending of the match, I think they steal the ending from WrestleMania 5 between Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude. That match ended with Bobby Heenan holding Ultimate Warrior's legs down while Rick Rude got the pin and won the IC title. They did pretty much the same thing. It was pretty much the same move, same everything, and Rockstar Spud's holding EC3, holding Austin Aries' legs down, and EC3 got the win. Another guy that they dropped the ball on is Austin Aries. Go back to 2012, summer 2012 in TNA. He was the hottest guy, hottest wrestler the company had, and within 3 months they shot it all down. Austin Aries never really was able to recapture his push from 2012. I mean, he drifted from X Division, tag teams, and stuff, but I mean, to me, you could have built the whole company around him. Then we have Eric Young versus Abyss. This is like a hardcore match. Eric Young is still a face. He's coming off, I guess. He's no longer the TNA champion, but he's a face. He hasn't turned heel yet. We had Madison Rayne against Angelina Love. And then we have Bobby Roode against Lashley. This is not actually from the event. What they did was they showed you a taping from an Impact taping when Bobby Lashley fought Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode won the title, and the special guest referee was Kurt Angle. So that was kind of like a bonus match. Then we had Bobby Roode against MVP. So that was, The main event is Jeff Hardy versus Magnus. Again, a pretty good match, and it's a pretty good card. I mean, if you're looking to buy TNA DVDs, I know they're having big sales going on. At the time when I bought this DVD, this is back in December. They were having the 12 Days of Christmas or something sale. So each day a DVD was $5. This was $5, but definitely, if this was, I definitely would recommend this one. This one night only pay per view. Definitely check it out. I'll open it up. Again, when you open the DVD in, there's no like menus or any. There's no like main. It's like there's no special features. You're just gonna put it in, and he's gonna have the chapter selection, just like the Slammiversary DVD. So it's very cheaply made, I guess you could say. No special features or anything. You select, press play, and the event will start. But yeah, you gotta check it out.